clean, apparently. So I got pretty sick. So yeah, I needed to recover from that sickness. But here I am, fully recovered and so wanting to fly. And today here at St. Louis, we've got perfect flying weather, perfect flying weather to do our CAT-03 rating. That was the original V1 rating, doing a couple of traffic pattern lapses, which is very basic, but very much fun. You know, guys, that I really enjoy these very basic flights from one Delta airspace or Delta class airport to the next, some non-towered airports. I really love that very old style, nice going flights. So I'm also looking forward to do this CAT-03 rating. Now, even though it sounds like a simple rating, still flying a good traffic pattern is quite challenging. I mean, if you really try to stick to the rules and the right procedures. So chances are I will pass this CAT rating for the very first time, I hope. But perhaps there might be some new things that I never encountered before during a traffic pattern that I, well, perhaps find a little bit more difficult to handle. But I'm not expecting any much trouble with this CAT rating. So I hope you enjoy. I'm hoping that I'm going to pass this CAT-03 rating.
Welcome to the Uncertified Pilot. I'm Tim, and this is my flight simulator.
Hey, Dobby Gaming, welcome. Thank you for jumping on board and thank you for following. So yeah, the CAT-03 rating. So I had started with this particular screen here on my iPad, you know, my sticky notes screen where I try to track all the stuff that I need to nail, that I need to improve on while flying. And I've cleaned some, I removed some sticky notes because they were quite old, and based on my previous flights, I thought, well, I kind of nailed those. I think I mastered those. So these are the ones that still are valid in my case. So repeat position and weather information at ground after clearance delivery. I haven't shown that in the latest episodes, but it refers to flight following. Did that? Well, it related to a flight where I requested for flight following. It doesn't really matter. At a Charlie class airport, when you do your initial call up at a clearance delivery, you should obviously then say, hey, here I am, my position, and give weather information. I've got Charlie or Delta. And then when you switch over to ground to request taxi clearance, you should also repeat the same position and weather information. And I forgot about that a couple of times, so that's the left. That's this one. Oh, that's not really a helpful way. Whoop. Look outside before you turn. Well, I'm expecting that sticky note will always be there. Hey, Cloud, welcome. Welcome, Marco. And welcome, Lewis. Thank you, guys. Welcome on board. I'm expecting that this sticky note will always be highly relevant, especially with VFR flying. Reference, nav points, always visual and radio, and time, elapsed time. So also Keith mentioned this in the previous episode. The clock is there for a reason, not to know when it's time for dinner or for lunch, but you can use it as a timer. So when after or at the beginning of each leg and the end of each leg, you reset the timer. Use time as your ally. Hey Dad, welcome on board. So that's a sticky note that I like to be very much reminded by. Rehearse rejected takeoff before takeoff. I never, or I haven't up till, well, these last couple of episodes, briefed my rejected takeoff emergency procedures. I did an episode with the 182 a very long time ago, where we actually simulated emergencies during takeoff just to see what would happen and how much time you don't have to return to the airfield or land on the runway again and exit the runway. And that was quite challenging and also quite shocking, really. And as part of a departure briefing, so after you did your run-up or just before, somewhere before your departure, before your takeoff, it's very good to rehearse that rejected takeoff procedure, and most of the times it's just the basic same procedure. When the engine quits on you just before you lifted off the runway, well, you can just land again, right, and hit the brakes. But there's one particular scenario in which you have taken off, well, let's say between 200 feet and just below 1,000 feet. So in that altitude, in that space of 200 feet AGL and 1,000 feet AGL, that's a really crucial time or piece of airspace, you could say, where you do not want to have your engine quit on you, because at that moment in time, the only option you have to land is within a 60-degree angle right in front of you. You cannot return to the airfield on that altitude. If you try and you make that turn, you descend with such a rate without having an engine that you will crash somewhere where you do not like to crash. So at that particular altitude, you need to pick a road or a field ahead of the runway to land on. And at each airfield, that particular strip or opportunity or way to land is different, right? So it's good as part of a departure briefing just also to know the terrain around the airfield, and in case when that scenario happens, you know where to land, which is quite interesting, I think. And it's also quite relevant for flight simulation to rehearse that. So that was that particular sticky note. Right column crosswind correction during taxi. Forgot about that last time, and that's because most of the time I don't have a crosswind here on the airfield. So I need to be very wary that when I listen to ATIS, I'm not only concerned with the winds in terms of takeoff and departure or cruise, but also during taxi, and use the yoke to correct. CTAF announced just aircraft type. Yeah, so it doesn't really make sense to say Papa Hotel Tango India Mike on the CTAF because the other pilots don't have any radar. They don't see a blip of the Papa Hotel Tango India Mike. So they're mostly interested in what kind of type of aircraft I am flying, because that determines my, well, speed in the traffic pattern, and that is really, really relevant. Aircraft type, right. Then this one refers to flight following. This is a kind of phrasing that I also like to incorporate or adopt. So when you so after takeoff, when tower has issued a takeoff clearance at around 500 feet, right, you fly those, follow up on those departure instructions, and around that time you would also contact departure, saying, hey departure, here I am, and guide me please, follow me please. And usually I'm just, because I'm still in the climb, I would just say, well, I am currently at, well, whatever, 700 feet or so. But it's much more informative to not say, well, here I am on 700 feet, because I'm not here on 700 feet. I'm already at 800 feet while after I completed that announcement. So it's better to say climbing through 700 up to, and that's my assigned departure altitude, 1500 or 2500, which is much more informative, which you also see real world pilots do on my favorite YouTube channels, and well, something that I need to do as well. Hey, just Alex. Yep, I'm feeling better. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. And the last one, monitor tower before run-up to raise situational awareness of the traffic pattern. Well, this is an interesting one. So what you could do is, when you receive taxi instructions by ground, obviously you monitor ground, right? And so you taxi until you are at your run-up power check spot. And at that moment, ground will probably not give you any instructions. So what you could do is set the tower on your second comm radio. So you turn both on at the same time, and you monitor the tower while you are doing your run-up and power check. So you already can listen to other traffic being in the pattern and what else is going on. So so avoiding the scenario where when you did your run-up, after you did your run-up and you check in with tower, then suddenly you hear that there's all kinds of stuff going on, and there was actually a Boeing or a Beechcraft already on final or whatever. It raises situational awareness, which is always a safe, which is always a good thing to happen. So monitor tower while you're doing your run-up. So not really before, but let's say during. Click, click. Thank you. Not really before, but during. So I'm not saying switch from ground to tower, because then you might miss out on instructions by ground saying, hey Tim, please move your ass because there's someone else in line. But I'm saying also monitor tower perhaps on your second radio frequency. But I don't know in prepared whether that's actually possible, technically possible. I know it's possible in X-Plane. Okay, so that involves my sticky note app here. Clean it up a bit and made it more relevant. In terms of flying today, the CAT-03 rating is just about doing traffic patterns, which I really like. But that doesn't mean, but that does mean that we don't need a sophisticated VFR sectional chart, but just a very plain airport diagram. So here it is, San Luis. That's where we are right now. And where were we? Well, if I remember correctly, we're there because that's the fuel pump. Yeah, and there's the fuel pump and some guys still standing there who have helped us out to refuel the tanks. If I'm right, I did that after the stream last time. Shift 4. Yeah, so my fuel tanks are full. Also my oil, engine oil. So we're ready to go. Anyway, we are there. And do we have a windscom runway so we can already expect what kind of taxi instructions we're gonna get? Now I'm expecting, because we're at the coast. I mean, let's have a look at the map. Already inputted the possible flight for the CAT-4 rating. I thought this was actually the CAT-3 rating, but it wasn't. It's just traffic patterns, but this is the CAT-4 from one Delta class airspace to the next. It's going to be our next episode. But today we're just going to stick here to San Luis. But what I was trying to say is usually here by day, the winds are coming from the ocean and going land inwards, right? So we always depart with a headwind. So chances are the winds calm runway, or even when there are winds, I'm expecting that runway 29 would be the runway of choice. I'm expecting that is the case. What we could do to check is go to the airport facility directory and have a look whether that is also just in plain text. Let me see. Recurring flux, unable to see aircraft, movement from holding, blah, 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 noise sensitive, don't care. Single engine taxi, no. Perhaps it isn't mentioned there. Well, I guess there might not be a windscom room. I don't know if every airport diagram or any airport has a designated windscom runway, but I thought that was the case. Well, if anyone knows, let me know where I can find it. I think I've asked that before, but it's not here. Is there another way to get to that information, or just runways, perhaps? No. Okay. Well, I guess it's just based on common sense. So back to that plate. So, what kind of taxi instructions are we expecting? And that helps also with noting down and replying to ATC, to the controller, because you already know, kind of expect what kind of taxiways you're going to be assigned to. You can already write that down in your scratch pad, and you're much more fluent in your replies, at least by theory. Cloud, they call it the preferential runway. Ah, right. Okay. So we are there. Well, if runway 29 is going to be our departure runway, then I'm expecting that we... Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, that's a new feature. But that's not what I like. I just like to draw here. We are going to receive... I'm expecting Juliet, Echo, cross runway 29, Juliet... Alpha, and that's it. That makes sense, right? Now that would be the very first taxi instruction where I need to cross a runway. And that reminds me of some other videos that I saw, also some ATC recordings on PilotEdge, that you need to be very careful when crossing runways, obviously. So if we get an instruction saying taxi, okay, so Papa Hotel Tango your mic, taxi to runway 29 via Juliet, Echo, and then cross runway 29 and then Echo and then Alpha, does that mean that I'm already cleared to cross the runway 29? Or should I then hold short at Echo before runway 29, so over there, before the tower, or before the controller would say, okay, you're now really explicitly, you're cleared to cross that runway? I think not. I think when we got instructions saying Echo cross runway 29, that's already the clearance. We can just go and cross 29. If not, I expect the controller would say Juliet Echo hold short at runway 29, and perhaps expect then afterwards Echo Juliet or Echo Alpha, blah 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 blah. Then it would be explicitly mentioned, I presume. I don't know what you guys think, but that's new to me. We're just gonna see, and if we mess up, we just try again. That's PilotEdge. I mean, that's the whole learning experience here of the uncertified pilot. I don't really care if I fail. Even more so, I love the fact that it takes some time to learn this stuff. So we're just gonna see. Okido. So that is already kind of our briefing. One thing that I am interested in, which I do not know for sure, is what kind of a pattern direction do we have? What kind of a traffic flow do we have? Do we have left-hand traffic or right-hand traffic? Default is left-hand, but you never know. Let's make sure. Can we already see that here with runways? No. But we can, where can we see that? It should be there on runways. No, it isn't. Where was that information? Back to the map, was it somewhere over? Well, we can already see here at St. Louis here the bluish in the bluish text there. If it were, if there were was any kind of right-hand traffic pattern, it would be depicted here in text just below the St. Louis here airport information. There would be RP right pattern 29 or whatever runway, and it isn't there, so I can assume it's just all left-hand traffic. Still curious though how I can already see that explicitly mentioned. Well, pattern altitude you can see on top 1200, so that's just 1000 feet AGL. And if I go below here, well, I guess it's only mentioned when you've got right traffic. I'm expecting that that's the case. So if it's just left, there's nothing to be, there's nothing needed to be mentioned here, because it's just default that you're flying left hand. Okay, left hand it is. So that's also very, very basic. Anything else that we need? Well, frequencies are always there on the plate. So ADIS 120.6. I'm expecting that that's still set in the comm radios. St. Louis Tower and ground. Very, very basic and very, very much fun. Anything else? Weather? Well, we only are interested here in local weather, and we're only flying for I would say 30 minutes or so. So we don't need an hour forecast or anything like that. Although it's always, I guess it's good to know. But we can look outside and just use the ADIS to make sure. And we can see it's lovely flying weather. Some clouds there, but nothing to worry about. So that's cool. Let's start. Okay, so here we are. Fuel tanks were refueled, and our engine oil as well. We did our flight planning, weather we know what we're going to do, so that makes sense. Then we're going to start with making sure that the cabin was properly reset last time. Yeah, I was expecting that to be the case. So, yep, let's do our resets here. So control lock removed. Let's check our Saitek panel. Yep, there it goes again, that silly fuel pump. Okay, need to fix that. Parking brakes are set. Then we got the fuel, the fire extinguisher here. Let's pretend it's in the green. Life vest, we don't need oxygen, blah, blah, blah. This is closed, closed, closed. ELT is on auto. I'm sitting a little bit to the back. Whoop, yep. Cabin air is open. This is closed. Flaps are up and they are up. And my Saitek levers should work and be fully calibrated, and they are. We've got the trim there. Trim wheel is working as well. That's cross-feeding, so let's set it to both. Cutoff is not cut off. Alternate is not active. Off, off, off. This is all on. That's okay, and this is all good. And the circuit breakers here are all in, and this is all off as well, and synced with my Saitek panel. Alrighty then. What we can then do is remove the pitot tube cover and also the wheel chocks, and we can do that very, very easily here in the A2A 172. Wheel chocks removed and pitot tube cover removed as well. Gone. Then we I'm going to inspect the interior system, see if they are actually working. But we need to go outside for some of them. For one, let's turn on the batteries. See, we got fuel tanks, full tanks here. Landing lights, taxi lights, strobe lights, nav lights, and pitot heat is on. Let's go outside. No, not into the hangar, but outside. There we are. Taxi light, landing lights are on, position lights and strobe lights. There too. And there too. And oh, TrackIR, please. Oh, yeah, yeah. No. Please, one more time. Yeah, there it was. Okay, is it working? Then the stall horn, and I would like also to have a feel. No, that one. If the pitot tube is warm, and it is. So that completes our checks here. Landing lights off, taxi lights off, strobe light, nav lights off, and pitot heat is also off. Then we move on with our flow. If you can still remember the flow. So that's what we did here. We go to the right, avionics on. We hear a beep there. Full illumination, that's good.
IFR to John Wayne.
Flaps down, go down in sync. Yep, looks good. Move up, let's test the transponder. Seems to work just fine.
Your 6641 Juliet State aircraft type and equipment suffix.
So,
Yes, it's a Papa 28 Alpha / uniform.
nice, unshaded messages. All lights are working. And fuel we have, and anything else that we need to check here? No, not really. No, that completes it. But I'm downing a bit. So let's grab the checklist. Oh yeah, flight control check. That's yeah, you can see, guys, just haven't been flying for 5 days or 6 days or so, no, even longer, a week. And you already see that the flow.
Cessna taking off runway 11, departing north oceanic.
Okay, can I just reduce the volume here? A little bit too loud. Something like that. You can already see that I lost a few items here, or not. I'm not fully sure.
Oceana traffic, you're transmitting.
Flight controls, right. Whoop. So to the right, down.
Okay, I gotta
To
repeat
the left,
on that.
down.
The aircraft is trying
Elevators.
to transmit on oceanic traffic. You are on SoCal approach.
And there's the rudder.
Okay,
Okay,
sorry
it's
about
working. That was the one I missed. Anything else? Batteries, stall warning lights, flaps, no, fuel tank, avionics. No, we did great. We did great. So interior system working. We now can go outside to have a look. So exterior walk around. First, the pitot tube. Nothing obstructs the pitot tube here. Baggage door closed. Tie down is removed. Have a very close look. This seems to be connected just fine. Okay. Connecting rod is there. Connecting rod is there too. Wiggle. Oh, I forgot to do the wiggle over there. Of the elevator tab. Yep, that's working. And here's the wiggle of the flaps. And they are connected too. Ailerons. Whoop, 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 whoop. Seems to be just right. Tie down is removed. Wheels, no wear and tear.
There's 6641 Juliet. Sure, you connect to the
Fuel
network
is
in
not
a
contaminated and good
Piper,
color.
Aircraft by Piper Cherokee. Can you
Full
confirm you
tanks.
said the type aircraft is a Falcon?
Full fuel. I don't know if this.
The Piper
I guess it's
aircraft
okay
is
when it's
the
just full engine oil.
PA-28.
I guess so.
Flash
And good
uniform.
color.
Number
Engine
6641
oil's
Juliet.
good.
Thank you.
Papa
Clearance
Alpha
is
28
available.
slash
Advisory
uniform.
copy. It will be a full route clearance.
No dents or stuff or damage on the prop. Also have a look here at the engine intakes. No bird's nest, no other weird stuff going on over there. Static air is clear, not obstructed. And the fuel here is good. Sump, good color,
Number 41
contamination.
Clearance is available. Advisory to copy. It's a full route clearance.
Wheels, tie down
Ready
removed,
to
stall
copy for
horn,
Juliet.
no stuff in
Pepper
there.
41
Fuel,
clear to
a
John Wayne
vent.
Airport. Adam 2 departure to Adam. Victor 186.
Looks good.
Beiji.
Wiggle,
Victor 363.
there is a wiggle, and it's connected as well.
Poxku. Victor 8.
Okay,
Still Beach.
and that
direct.
completes the exterior walk around.
Maintain 4,000.
We don't need to visit,
Expect
no
5,000
need to
once
visit the
minutes
maintenance
after
hangar.
departure.
We are just
Departure
fine.
frequency 134.2.
We can start, guys.
Squawk 1324.
Okay.
Oceanic
Seatbelts.
traffic, Cessna taking
On.
off runway 11, departing north, Oceano.
Park and brakes. Get my chair right here and reset my viewpoint. Okay, so briefing, traffic patterns. What are we going to do?
Van
We
Nuys clearance.
expect
My apologies. I'm gonna have to ask you
a
to repeat
taxi.
again. I didn't get it clearly.
From here,
Number
Juliet,
4, no
Echo,
worries. One moment.
and Alpha crossing runway 29 or
Charlie Delta,
11.
turn right heading 180.
Very, very basic. So Juliet, Echo, Alpha. Yeah.
Pepper 41 Juliet, clear to John Wayne Airport. Adam 2 departure. To Adam intersection. Victor 186. Beiji.
Just writing that down to make my life a little bit more
Victor
easy.
363.
So I can really listen to whatever ground might say additional to my taxi instructions.
Victor 8.
So Juliet Alpha crossing 29
So
Echo,
Beach.
right?
Direct.
Juliet Echo
Maintain 4,000.
29 and
Expect
Alpha.
5,000. 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 134.2. Squawk
Huh?
1324 and hold your
Julia,
please.
Juliet Echo 29 Alpha.
Sirius
and
7
then
Charlie Delta 2.5 miles
29.
from Vida. Fly heading 240
Okay.
till established by cleared RDAF runway
And then
27.
left-hand traffic patterns, we need to do 3 for the CAT-03 rating. And it's going to be left-hand, and it's going to be 1,200 feet. Kind of like confirms our current altimeter setting here, which we can already derive
Sirius 7
for just
Charlie Delta
inputting the airport elevation,
23,800 till established.
which was 1,200, or which was 212, I think. Let me have a look, quick look.
Pepper
Yeah.
41 Juliet, go ahead with your read back.
I
So
apologize.
current altimeter setting is 3012.
Adam, Victor 186, Peggy, Victor 363.
Okay.
Pasco.
And anything else that we need to brief?
Beach, direct.
I don't think so. How are we gonna taxi away here? Well, we're just gonna do a tight turn, I guess. Perhaps we should tout our Cessna a little bit to the back here. So I guess I'm going to make a right turn here and just taxi a little bit here on the grass, and then pick up on this side. And we go like this, and there we're gonna cross, and then we are over there to 29. And the windows are fogging up, I see, because we closed our doors. Okay, that's going to be our briefing. Anything else that we need to do here? Parking brakes are set. Fuel tanks are set to both. We need to test our brakes. So parking brakes release, differential braking firm, looks good. Parking brakes reset. And we are ready to go. Am I right? Circuit breakers. Yeah, lights, we don't care. Avionics are off. Brake, parking, filter. Yep. Okay, so ready for engine start. So let's do that. Ah, okay. Batteries on. Already set my throttle here, and let's prime the engine. 1, 2, 3. Cut off. Fuel pump off. And hand on the mixture, and the other on the ignition switch. Is the propeller area clear? It is. So clear prop. Mixture full in. There we go. 1200. Oil pressure is coming up into the green. Let's lean. A little bit more rich there. Back to 1000. Generator on. Avionics on. Flaps up.
07 Charlie Delta, contact number tower 118.
And virtual headphones on. Transponder on, verified 1200.
Lindbergh Tower.
Okay, now I need to make sure what the frequencies are. We'd only need tower and ground, which is very, very easy.
347 Charlie Delta, Lindbergh Tower, wind 3107, runway 27, clear to land.
We've got 120.6 in the
Runway
COM1 already,
land,
COM2
7 Charlie
active,
Delta.
so that's already set. We're going to listen to that very, very soon. And we've got 1240 is tower, and ground is 121.6, and I haven't set that one. So standby COM1 is 121.6. 124.00.
And say in the call sign.
121.6. Verified. Cool.
San Luis Tower.
So set to ground.
172, 6 miles south.
And we are currently on
Epic
the
3141 Papa SoCal Squawk 257.
west ramp. West side ramp, as you can see. Oh, sorry. On the west side ramp. So that's a good one to know. So we know our position. Now we need to listen to ATIS to get the current weather information. I'm just going to switch to another frequency so the controllers don't chat with us or not interrupt us. So COM2, let's have a listen to ATIS.
San Luis Airport information, Sierra.
Sierra.
1920 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky conditions clear. Temperature 212.12. Altimeter 3015. ILS runway 11 in use. Landing and departing runway 11. VFR aircraft. See direction of flight. All aircraft read back short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact.
You have Sierra.
Sierra.
Alright, so we've got Sierra, and as you know, in Flight Sim, at least in Prepared, currently, as soon as there's a 1 knot wind, then that's going to be the active runway. So in this case, runway 11 would be the active runway. We're just going to expect 29 because that's a more likely real-world assigned runway. I presume. Perhaps it's 11 and we need to be flexible and change our expected or taxi instructions on the fly. We'll just see what's going to happen. Anyway, we are current. We have our frequencies set.
You have my contact.
Back to ground 121.6. Verify that once more. I'm not that lucid. Let me see. 121.6. Right, Tim. Very good. It's gonna be exciting today. Yeah. So we're ready to go. Engine is not in the green yet, as you can see.
Yeah, this is Cessna.
Oil temperature is not in the green yet, so the engine still needs to warm up a bit.
We are 6 miles south of landing.
Oh, we can already taxi using
San
low
Luis.
RPM, so below 1400-ish.
Aircraft calling San Luis
Transponder
Tower,
or the heading indicator
base, runway
is set with a
29er,
magnetic
and,
compass.
Your call sign is an
29 is set on the
call
heading
sign
block,
for
which is
US
fine.
Registered aircraft. Is that possibly a foreign call sign?
I don't know whether the non-movement area is here designated on the ramp. I guess so. I don't know if every airfield has one. But what we can do then, well, let's just pretend. Let's just do this. See what happens. Brakes test. Because in that case, we can just freely taxi until we get to the movement area.
Papa, remain outside Chino Delta airspace. Contact Ontario Tower 120.6.
So we can already position ourselves just to expedite our taxi. Nice clouds by Active Sky 2016 and Cloud Art. So let's just stick over here. Come to a stop. Alright, so we're going to do our first announcement here to ground. And what are we going to say? Well, where we are, the weather information, and that we are CAT-03, right? That we're going to do our CAT-03 because then the tower knows and watches us.
141 Papa Ontario Tower in our left base, runway 26 left report base.
Oh, let's set my parking brakes here. Yep, there they are. Okay. Close traffic, right. All right. Man, yeah. San Luis ground, Skyhawk Pop Hotel Tango Indy Mike on the west ramp with information share for close traffic. Our CAT-3 rating today. Steeler, thank you for hosting. Did we come through? 121.6, that's ground. AI Smokin', did you start your rating yet? I just very briefly just started. Just a second ago. Let's do that announcement once more.
Okay, calling CAT for the CAT-3, say call sign.
That's Pop Hotel Tango India Mike.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, San Luis ground. Say your parking, confirm you have weather, and type aircraft.
Pop Hotel Tango India Mike is a Cessna Skyhawk. We're on the west ramp with information share for close traffic doing our CAT-3. Just repeating the whole bunch.
And Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, I didn't catch, you said you were on the south side?
That's incorrect. We're currently at the west ramp. West ramp.
Oh, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike. Okay, so are you west or correction, are you south or north of runway 29er? Because the west ramp is sometimes called the south ramp. That's south of runway 29er.
Right, we're on the south ramp, on the south side of the runway then, for Papa Hotel Tango Mike.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, thank you. Runway 29er, taxi via Mike, Echo, Alpha, cross runway 29er.
229er via Mike, Echo, and Alpha for Papa Hotel Tango Mike, thanks. Mike? Mike?
41 Papa, squawk altitude please. Runway 26 left, clear to land. Wind 1503.
Mike? Where's Mike? Mike, where are you?
Lindbergh Tower.
Oh, there's Mike.
347 Charlie Delta.
All right, so
active.
I guess we're
Looking
more
for the
on
north
that
ramp.
side. So
07 Charlie Delta,
ground
taxi
likes us to
left,
taxi
Charlie,
like
this frequency
that, and then Echo and cross.
To Charlie via this frequency. Good day.
Okay, we can do that. So, parking brakes released. That means we need to go that direction. Make sure we're not going to fly into these parked airplanes. And there we go. What a nice weather, guys, to fly. Can we cross? Well, we're just gonna. This is really tight. In the real world, I wouldn't do this. But hey. And I guess also ground wouldn't really bother us using Juliet. Well, okay, here we are. Then this would be. That's the runway. Am I doing this right? We're currently on Juliet, and what we were assigned to wasn't Juliet. Is Echo over there? Oh, there are some taxiways here on the grass here. Perhaps that's a scenery area or a scenery error. That makes things a little bit more complex. Let me see. I'm expecting that there would be Echo, perhaps. In Kilo?
San Luis Tower.
There's Kilo on the map.
Code San Luis Tower, you are 5x5.
You can see here, Kilo. So let's taxi a little bit further along because perhaps
you
it's
remain
over
in the
there.
pattern.
Yeah, I can see Echo over there.
Epic 41 Papa.
Okay.
Runway 26 left, clear, touch and go on the go. Fly heading 230, maintain VA for below 3000 till advised.
Hey Scotty, welcome. Okay, so here we are. This is Echo. I guess this turn over here, and that's runway 29. As you can see, Echo 29. Yeah, that's the one that we need. Be very careful. Also, self-responsible for looking out for any other traffic on the runway or on landing.
Lane 182 Sierra Alpha is north transient parking, requesting pattern work with information Romeo.
And here we are, and we're gonna cross over to that side.
Skyline 182 Sierra
Yeah, that
Alpha,
makes sense.
7 ground, runway 2.
Also looking
taxi via Alpha.
at the taxi diagram. Okay,
Runway
no one
29er,
is
taxi via
landing
Alpha,
or
182
on the
Sierra
runway
Alpha.
as far as I can see, so let's get some speed going.
Epic 41 Papa, departure heading 235.
See some traffic there in front of us. Still engine, you can see oil engine, oil temperature is now in the green. And here is Alpha. Alrighty then.
San Luis Tower, are we clear to land at 29?
Someone is.
Okay, calling San Luis Tower, I need you to call in with your call sign. Otherwise, I have no idea who's calling. And if it was the Charlie 424, that's
bit more power
actually
here.
an invalid call sign. See, runway 29er, you are clear to land.
Okay, so someone is arriving 29er
And you should
here at San Luis.
You should answer, at least with your call sign. If not, read back what
The guy
what
has
the
no
clearance.
clue how to do proper ATC
Alright, sorry,
announcements.
No, it's just, yeah.
Epic 41 Papa radar contact, SoCal departure.
Okay, so far so good, guys. Feeling a little
Epic
bit
3141 Papa, SoCal departure.
thick.
Cancel altitude restriction, resume navigation.
like needing to get a little bit more aviation sharp. I guess that's the week of nuts
San
flying
Luis
does a
Tower,
lot, I
182
guess.
Sierra Alpha is holding short, runway 29.
Interesting. The psychological
Runway 22
dimension of
Sierra
flying.
Alpha, San Luis Tower, hold short, runway 29er, traffic,
Okay,
short
still
side
we're on
runway
Alpha. We're
29er.
doing it right. We were critical. We were
Holding
reflective.
short, runway 29.
To spot
Alpha
those
22 Sierra Alpha.
different taxiways there earlier with Juliet and Mike and that stuff. So that was being aware and also situational aware. So still there's no harm done. Also the controller was a little bit distracted. I guess it's those kinds of days. Ah, there's the guy on arrival. Suddenly blubbed in the distance. Appeared in the distance. Okay, run-up power check. So I guess there would be a run-up area over there. And this guy is gonna have to wait for that landing inbound traffic. So it would be nice for sequencing if we could finish our run-up and we could just departure after this guy. So here we are. Let's make that turn here. Oi, that's not a really pretty landing. That's the guy with the bad ATC announcements. Well, you can see he's also not a very experienced pilot, and that explains. Wow. Okay. Power check. So we are clear to do a power check. Our engine is warm enough, or engine oil is warm enough. We could now listen or monitor the tower, but that doesn't work here in the P3D version of PilotEdge, I think. So I'm just sticking to ground here. Full mixture, 1800. No unshaded messages. Everything seems pretty stable to me. Oil pressure, very good. Let's do our mag test. Aye, whoa, left magnetos are filed up. The right one's a bit. So back to both. Let's go 2000. Or let's just go full throttle. And then lean a bit.
Charlie 2 for leaning. I have 2 departures on way to get out. If you can clear the runway, please.
To around here, I guess. Not too rough. Let's see what happens. To burn off that fouling on the spark plugs. Careful of your engine temperature. About 20 seconds or so. DDN diving in the deep end there. Yeah. Thank you guys for jumping on board. 26 passengers currently here on the Uncertified Pilot. Awesome. I guess this guy can now announce its departure.
Skyline 182, Sierra Alpha is clear for takeoff. Left traffic. 182, sir.
Okay, full mixture. And let's see if we have fixed those spark plugs. 1800s, left mag. Yeah, looks good. Back to both. And the right one looks good as well. Awesome. Landing lights. Small dip there. Strobe lights on. Idle. No non-shader messages there. And oil pressure is stable. Good. We've got a healthy engine. Back to 1000. Okay, so now we can drive up, roll up to the threshold line. There's the departure there. Which is nice because that's also closed traffic. So we need to apply the stuff that we practiced or experienced in the previous episode with Keith. Let me see here. Okay, up to the threshold line. There we are. No trim set. Fuel tank set. Lights are on. We are ready to go. Left-hand traffic. Rejected takeoff. Yeah, straight and landing. What I mentioned. So I haven't inspected the terrain here. It doesn't seem like terrain to do a proper rejected takeoff landing, emergency landing in the front.
Clear to land. Wind 2804.
Clear to land 20.
Yeah, should have done that before we did our taxi roll and even our startup to inspect the terrain here. Anyway, I would like to take off right now. We're just going to wait for that guy to turn crosswind. But I guess he already did, and we cannot see him. So let's wait for a gap here and announce our departure. Switch to tower, 124.0.
Alpha Charlie 16 right.
San Luis Tower, Skyhawk, Papa Hotel Tango, and Mike is holding short 29 for close traffic.
Skyhawk, Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike, San Luis Tower, left clear traffic approved, report midfield each time, wind calm, runway 29 are clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 29, left hand traffic, and we'll report midpoint each time for Papa Hotel Tango, Mike.
Skyline 20 Alpha, one departure private arrival is Skyhawk, he's on the go. And remaining in the pattern, runway 29 clear for the option.
It's gonna get...
Skyline 182, Sierra Alpha, clear for the option, runway 29.
interesting. Good. Okay, so here we are, aligned. Mixture full in, full power. CAT-03 rating. Airspeed is alive, engine is still in the green. A little bit of rudder here, 40. 50. 60, that's our rotation speed. And there we go. Ah, flying is so cool. Especially with a power computer. So that's where we started. 75 knots, a little bit of nose down trim. As you can see, not a lot of room here to do our, or perhaps here to the left for a rejected takeoff. A landing, emergency landing. 200 was our airport elevation, so at 700 we're going to make our first turn, crosswind turn. No need to do our announcements here because we're not on CTAF. This is already on tower. So the controller knows what we are doing and controls all the other traffic. Curious to know and listen what the other guy is doing in the traffic pattern. That was Scotty, right? Or isn't he? I think so. Really appreciate the join up. There comes our heading bug and also our traffic pattern altitude. So there we are. Less power. And let's continue our turn for the downwind leg. Stick tight to that runway, because if we got an engine out during the traffic pattern, we need some... We like the airport to be very close to us, right? At least that's the idea. There's the heading bug at the bottom. A little bit too fast. What nice scenery, man. And there's the runway, parallel verified. Around midfield we're going to do our reports, because that's what the controller asked, which is quite usual actually. Also 1 notch of flaps.
Yeah, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, traffic Skyline, turning final runway 29 clear for the option.
Clear for the option, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike. And the controller already let us know that the Skyline was already further along. 100 feet too high and also a little bit too slow. And that's because I didn't trim because of my flaps. So I just went up and that decreased my airspeed. But I also like to spot the Skyline. Clear for the option so we can do whatever. Oh, there's the Skyline. Alright. So, not a really great timing here to do a base leg turn. And I also should have replied to the controller that I did or did not spot the Skyline, like we practiced with Keith at the non-towered airport. There we go. Making that turn. Can already descend in.
John Tower, Epic 4-1 Papa, request taxi to the west ramp, please.
Epic 41 Papa, taxi to parking via Delta Bravo this frequency. Have a great day.
1 notch of flaps.
Delta Bravo on this frequency.
On base. There's the runway. Pretty nice altitude. Let's make another turn. Make sure no one is on the right here on final that the tower controller missed, or... There we are. Now regulate speed with pitch, not with power, Tim. Okay. Not too bad. And there we are. What is the Skyline doing? Can I see him? No. A little bit more nose up trim here and get to around 60, which is much more slow than I was used to with flying the Skyline.
Skyline 20 Alpha, are you on a CAT rating?
Yes, I am, Tower.
Skyline 20 Alpha, if you could, when you're on the ground, the first time you talk to a controller, let them know that that's your intentions. Otherwise, I would have had no idea. But this will be your first lap for the CAT rating.
San Luis Tower, I appreciate that. Sorry about the confusion. 182 Sierra Alpha.
I don't get the confusion, really. I mean, this is our first landing. We need to do 3 laps. Okay, there we are. 60. Pull back on the throttle. Nose up, nose up, nose up. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Not bad at all. Full power. Engine is good. And there we go.
St. Louis Tower, Skyline 182, Sierra Alpha is midfield, runway 29.
Midfield, okay. That's good.
20 Alpha, runway 29, clear for the option.
Coming up to 700. That's our turning point for crosswind.
Cleared for the offering, runway 29, 182, Sierra Alpha.
Right, rudder still in. Let's make that turn. Slow turn. Coming up to our traffic pattern altitude sooner than our crosswind leg here. Nose down. Because we made a very slow turn, we can already move to downwind. Turn to downwind. Really pulling on that yoke because we still got that nose down trim in.
Very nice tower, turn 6641.
Nice standard turn. Looking for the heading bug.
I have port release.
And there we are. Good. Not bad. I guess in that week of not being flying, really the ATC stuff
Have a nice tower, wind calm, runway 16 right, clear for takeoff.
degrades rather than just the mere flying skill. But I shouldn't say that while I'm flying, because you never know. Midfield already? No, not
Okay,
really.
Papa Hotel, take India, Mike, runway 29, clear for the option, it'll be number 2, the Skyline just turned to final.
Clear for the option, 29er, and we have the Skyhawk in sight for Papa Hotel, Mike. I didn't have him inside, I just said that because I presumed that I would see him. So that's bad manner. I can see him here. I should just take my time, spot him first, and then say things. Because it's all about help. It's all about assistance here for ADC. It's not about just making good announcements. It's about keeping the airspace safe. So that would be... I would even say that would be a fail for my CAT-03 rating, to be honest.
Very nice tower,
If I was my own instructor, which I am, but...
Pepper 4 and Juliet, Roger, you gonna need to go back to the ramp, or what would you like to do?
Let's make that turn already.
Norfolk
Okay,
1 Papa.
there we go.
Okay, Norfolk 1 Juliet, Roger, just let me know.
Still pulling pretty much on that
Pepper
yoke.
4 and Juliet, cancel takeoff clearance.
Takeoff clearance clearance.
And this is going to be our second landing. There we go. Nice speed. Good turn. There comes the heading bug. And we are descending. Second notch of flaps on base. There's the runway. Push down on that yoke. Regulate speed with pitch. Okay. No one is on the other side. Make that turn. There we go. Not too much nose down. There we go. There we go. A little bit less power. Good. That was a nice base to final move. Okay. Skylane is not inside, but I would say already on the upwind. Okay, so once more, let's see if I can do that nice soft touchdown once more. So again, getting my speed around 60. Nose up trim, nose up trim, nose up trim, nose up trim, nose up trim. Man, there we go. Touching down beyond those arrows here at run up area. There we go. Nice speed, 60. Nose up, throttle idle, and keep that nose up, 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 up. Man, not bad. First one was better, but full power. Engine is still in the green. Keeping centered, 60, rotate, and nose up.
St. Louis Tower, Skylane 182, Sierra Alpha is midfield, runway 29.
Midfield, great timing. Yeah, I can see him just below there, the wing.
Cleared for the option, runway 29.
A little bit too much nose up. That's because we have trimmed nose up just before touchdown. So okay. Very nice. 700. There's our turn. 2 crosswind.
St. Louis Tower, Cessna 172 Delta Echo, 6 miles south.
Interesting. So we got an arriving aircraft.
St. Louis Tower. Are you inbound for the to land?
Yes, that's Cessna 172 Delta Echo to land.
So 172 Delta Echo, could you do me a favor, disconnect from the network real quick and replace the Charlie in front of your call sign with a November, so it'll be November 172 Delta Echo.
Alright, yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Interesting
Thank you.
stuff. Just listening to A2C recordings on PilotEdge is so educational. In my early days, when I started this stream, I actually just downloaded those A2C recordings and listen to them while running or even in bed to get myself to sleep. It's very, very educational and fun to listen to.
Papa Hotel Tango Indy Mike runway 29 are clear for the option. You'll be number 2, Skylane traffic on base.
Clear for the option 29. We're number 2. We have the Skyhawk not in sight currently. For Papa Hotel Tango Mike.
Gotcha.
That was much more honest. There it is. St. Louis Tower, Papa Hotel Tango Mike. We've got the Skyhawk, the Skylane in sight on final.
Sky Papa Hotel Tango Mike, thank you.
Ha! Although my announcement structure was a bit weird, I should have said St. Louis Tower. Or no, I should just say Papa Hotel Tango India Mike has the Skylane on site on final, something like that. And there's the Skylane, very faint there. And this will be our 3rd landing, and that's it, right? We did 3 laps, didn't we? Should have put in that notch of flaps much earlier. Nose down trim, nose down trim, nose down trim. Already start my descent. We can already start our turn, by the way. Whoop. A little bit less power. Nice standard rate turn. My turns could be a little bit more aggressive. I'm making 2 shallow turns. There we go. There's the heading bug. I'm also really enjoying St. Louis as an airport and scenery, and don't you guys? I really love the scenery and the textures here. The only
172 Delta Echo St. Louis Tower, you were back with me?
Where is he? Oh yeah, that's that arriving airplane.
Okay, 172 Delta Echo, thank you so much. Enter left base runway 29 for report 3 miles out.
Alright, good. Too slow, too slow, too slow.
Report left base for runway 29er.
Okay, there we are. On final, cleared for the option. This was our third landing.
Heavy.
So what I'm going to do is put my touchdown point a little bit further along so we can depart here beyond runway 25, or I don't know what the other runway is, but somewhere around there.
341 heavy, John Wayne clearance.
So we don't need to, we can really expedite our exit from the runway.
175, radar vector still beach.
Like we talked about in the previous episode.
5,000. Expect
Nose
6,000.
up, nose up.
0 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 128.1, squawk 6152.
Speedbird 341 Heavy is cleared to the Ontario International Airport on departure by heading 175, radar vectors Seal Beach, then as filed. Departure frequency is 128.1, squawk 6152, and we'll climb to 5.
Okay, 60.
10 after Speedbird 341.
Nose up, look at the far end of the runway.
Back correct. Skyline 2 Sierra Alpha, runway correction, Skyline 2 Alpha Sierra, runway 2
There we are.
clear for the option.
Nose up.
2 Sierra Alpha, clear runway 29.
And there we are. Brakes. And here's Echo. Keep some speed in. Nice.
John Wayne ground, Speedbird 341 Heavy.
Good.
83 request pushback.
Some braking here beyond the threshold line.
John Wayne ground, push on to
We are on
Alpha
Echo.
approved, tail north.
Good.
Push approved.
Reset.
Speedbird 341.
And we are on tower, and we can go back here to my iPad.
Nice tower, Turkey, 410.
Clear. And we are on Echo. Okay.
North 664 Juliet, Van Nuys Tower, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to cancel this operation for now and do some more work on this machine. And I'll connect later and try it again.
Piper 41 Juliet, Roger. Good luck and have a great day.
Thanks for your help and patience today.
No problem.
San Luis Tower, Skark, Hotel Tango, and Mike is clear runway 29 at Echo. We're ready to taxi to the ramp.
Papa Hotel Tango and Mike taxi to parking via Mike. This frequency, your pass for the CAT-03.
Via Mike to the ramp, and thank you for the pass, Papa Hotel Tango Mike.
Skyk 172 Delta Echo. Traffic is Skylane. Just turn in base for runway 29 ahead and to your left. Report in sight.
Yep, that's the conflict, right? The arriving aircraft.
Tower November 172 Delta Echo, left base 29.
This is Mike. Is it?
172 Delta Echo, runway 29 clear to land.
No, it isn't. I think
Clear
that
to
would be
land.
Echo, by the way. Yeah, so this is some weird scenery.
Skylane
Speedbird
182
341
Sierra
Heavy,
Alpha.
correction, John Wayne ground is ready for taxi.
Do you see Skyhawk ahead of you on the final for runway 29?
I can see taxi lines over here.
St. Louis Tower, 2 Sierra Alpha, I do not see him.
So let's
Skyline
do
2
our
Sierra Alpha, stay
initial
your
plan
position.
here.
I'm on final runway 29.
And just make a right turn over here. Whoop. Very small corridor, but hey. If ORBX doesn't work with you, you gotta
St. Louis
take
Tower,
charge.
am I clear to land?
Yes,
2 Sierra Alpha?
CAT-03.
Skyline 2 Sierra Alpha, how far final are you? Are you like over the numbers or are you still about 2 or 3 miles out?
I am over the numbers.
You
2
should
Sierra
report.
2 Sierra Alpha, runway 29 clear to land, or correction, clear for the option.
Whoa.
2 Sierra Alpha. I'm going to do a full stop.
Roger. Skyhawk 172 Delta Echo. Yeah, Skylane just is on the rollout now, runway 29.
Interesting stuff here on San Luis. Interesting just to listen to and get some mental picture of what is actually going on.
Delta Echo, clear to land.
Okay, where are we going to park? Oh, luckily. I thought I'd get a crash
John Wayne
here.
ground, Speedbird 341 Heavy is ready for taxi.
Let's put our little Skyhawk
runway 20 right, taxi via Alpha Lima, hold short, runway 20 left.
over there.
20 right via Alpha Lima and we'll hold short left, Speedbird 341 Heavy.
Whoop. But we stop here because otherwise I cannot turn if I go all the way. So
Tower November 172 Echo, left base 29, clear to land.
Left base. Interesting.
Okay,
So
Corsair
cool,
2
guys.
Echo
Okay.
affirmative, runway 29, clear to land.
Blip.
Thank you.
Transponder off. Let's also just
Runway
switch a
30 Alpha,
frequency
taxi
so
to
we're not
coordinate Alpha,
annoyed.
this frequency, and that's passed with the CAT-03.
Boom. And then we just do cutoff. Wait until the prop stops. There it is. Ignition switch back to off. Avionics off. Then the battery off. And oh yeah, I know I should have turned the generator off first because apparently that's the flow. So alternator off and then battery off. Yep. Okay. And oh yeah, I spot one mistake. Still got my... Hey, my nav lights are on. No, they are not on my Saitek panel. That's weird. Oh no, they were off. Sorry, I'm mistaking. Yeah, so... And my PD heat is also off. Yeah, that seems to be just fine. So I forgot to turn off my lights. After I exited the runway, I should have turned off my landing lights and my strobe lights. Not a big thing, but, well, should remember to do that. Okay, so that was that. And then the park and brake set, control wheel lock, virtual headphones off, my seat belt released. And there we are, but not entirely, but because we should put on our pitot tube cover and our wheel chocks. And there we are. Man, that was fun. Hey, Scotty. Oh boy, what fun. Yeah, it really was. But Scotty, it was you, right? The Skylane. You were the same guy who was also flying in the previous episode, right? I already forgot in this week. Let me know. If you are... much appreciated once more to join in on the traffic pattern because it makes stuff much more dynamic, much more real, and much more fun. Ah, thanks. It was Scotty. Okay, yeah, great, man, and also congratulations on the pass, right? That's what I heard on the ADC. Very nice. Yeah, but once more, flying a traffic pattern with other guys on the traffic pattern is so much different than doing it solo. Obviously, but you can see what that does. Also in terms of what you need to say to the tower. And I messed up once. If I was an instructor and I was really strict, if this was really a real world situation, I would have failed myself really for this rating because I announced to the tower that I was aware of seeing the Skylane of Scotty on final or where he was, while I knew I didn't know. And that is not what the system of ADC is all about. But I recovered in the next lap through that learning and through that reflection. So through that I would say, okay, this is fine. But it's a serious mistake. As an instructor, I would really be very serious about that if I was my own student in that sense. Yeah, I recovered, and so I think I passed. Honestly. Okay, but that was really fun, and I really love the textures here on San Luis. We've got great weather. Really enjoying just doing plain traffic patterns. Very cool. And I hope you enjoyed it as well, guys. As passengers, you can see how much fun just a plain traffic pattern could be on PilotEdge with other pilots. Currently CAT-03 rating, and next up is going to be our CAT-04 rating. And well, I already had a look what that was all about. I already mentioned it to you guys at the beginning of the episode. So then what we're going to do is leave San Luis and go from one Delta class airport to another. Namely to Santa Maria Airport here to the south. Very small hub, gorgeous, small, scenic flight. I mean, these are the flights. I would rather do these kinds of flights, 10 of them, than a long-haul 4-hour flight at 30,000 feet. Going over Oceano, very interesting. So what I was thinking was flying like we did the flight from Oceano to San Luis and back. So first departing for like a left crosswind departure from 29. Then we fly all the way up to the coast here. And we could pick this fix, Avila, because that is that Victor Airway, right? It's from Morro Bay via War here, an outbound radial 126. and we can fly that all the way. We can also use the clock and the timer, right, to get to very close to Santa Maria. We would already see it if we got VMC, obviously, and then announce check-in and land on Santa Maria, and be very wary of that restricted area there to the west of us. Very cool, very short flight. So I'm really looking forward to doing this CAT rating, and I'm hoping perhaps that I can do one tomorrow, but I will see if my schedule allows. That's going to be the CAT-4 rating in the next episode. Very, very, very cool. And then after the CAT-4, I'm expecting is getting a little bit more to my, well, limit or current ceiling of flight skill experience, I guess. Don't know what the CAT-5 was all about. Perhaps then we're going to do flight following, which is also not that new. I did that a couple of times. But then the bars get raised with each CAT rating until eventually we need to ask clearance to pass through a Charlie airspace, blah, 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 or even depart from a Bravo class airport from Los Angeles with the Cessna. I'm going to depart. Man, oh, wow. Really looking forward to that stuff. But until we get there, we're going to do these very nice flights like the CAT-4 rating. So that's going to be it. That's going to be the conclusion here of episode 44, the CAT-3 rating. Really enjoyed this flight. Also, by the way, just one remark. And I guess that also relates to real-world flying. What you can see, I don't know if you guys can notice, I guess especially some of you who have just saw the last episode for the very first time and just jumped right over to episode 44, the difference just in mental capacity or processing after having not flown for a week or so. What that does in terms of, well, dusting off your flight skills or... and in my case, I'm noticing that it's not really the flying and the touchdowns. That went pretty well, by the way, the touchdowns. But it's more the whole situational awareness muscle that gets too relaxed in that week. It's on that dimension somewhere where things get a little bit thick and dull. And I expect that, especially if you're an IFR pilot, which I'm hoping in season 2 I will also be quite proficient in at some point, doing the I ratings, that will be very, very noticeable. And it's really very important to get a regular schedule of flying going, because otherwise you just lose on that, well, situational cognitive processing muscle stuff, and you really notice that, and well, you're much less efficient in your flight training. But it's interesting, already noticing that in just a week, doing a very plain VFR flight, having to relook 3 times or 4 times whether I got the right ground frequency or tower frequency, well, and that kind of stuff. So that's very interesting. Well, on that note, looking forward to the next episode, 45, the CAT-4 rating. We're going to make a very nice hop here from San Luis to Santa Maria. Guys, I hope you will be my passengers once more. If you're not following me on this channel, The Uncertified Pilot, please do. It's very much encouraged, very much appreciated to let me know that you enjoyed this content. Hit that purple follow button and you get a notification each and every time when I fly. You can jump on board, help me improve my flying, suggest any tips you have that I can use to better nail my landings, to do ATC better, whatever. I'm here to learn from you guys. So whether you're on YouTube or on Twitter or whatever, let me know. Share the stuff that you have been using or just learned, because I'm very, very interested in the stuff that made you a better flight simulator or real world pilot. Scotty, good night. Thank you once more for joining in on the traffic pattern. It's much appreciated. I hope to see you again soon. Jimbo, thank you for following. It's very encouraging to see. Thank you so much. Guys, see you next time. Bye.
Welcome to the Uncertified Pilot. I'm Tim, and this is my flight simulator.